one of the designs of the five wide offense is to always run our routes no matter what the coverage is. So I'd like to show you how keeping the same routes still will allow you to work whether it's 2 deep or 3 deep. So let's talk about the zero route versus 2 deep. If you're always changing your routes based on coverage, then you're not really running your offense. You're running the offense that the defense lets you run. So we don't believe that in the five wide offense. We are going to run our routes and they will work against whatever coverage the defense has, and that makes them passive, tentative, and uncertain about what they're going to do. So let's switch to this 2 deep defense and see how the structure of the routes can remain intact and you can attack your opponent. The only thing that happens is that for the quarterback, who is going to be the read sometimes changes, but that's a very simple thing to teach. So we're going to go to a 2 deep route. We're going to move the free safety over to the boundary hash. We're going to take the strong safety and set him on the field hash. The corners are going to walk up, and then this will linebacker is going to play in his normal position. The corner is going to rotate up, and he could play outside, he could play inside. We're going to play him outside, so he funnel that to the strong safety. Okay? And so what we have now is we have a situation where in essence we're 2 on 3 into the boundary, and we're 3 on 3 into the field. So let's look at the zero route. Obviously, we try not to work where we don't have numbers. So the initial thought of throwing into the boundary is we're going to move over to the field and not try to work this and put anything in there, because we have all this space and we're 3 on 3. So the first read is the slant read. Once again, that's okay. We can take that because now there's nobody sitting in the first window. So the quarterback comes up and he sees 2 deep and we have zero called. He knows he can stay with his first read, and now instead of a quick 3, he may do a quick 1. And he may just turn, set his feet, and be ready to throw the ball in that first window because there's nobody there. Alright? If the other thing that we have is there's nobody there to initially play a quick throw to the swing route. So he can take a quick run, get the ball to the swing quick, and get it to him in time that this corner doesn't come off of the W route. Okay? The stem of the post route by the W in 2 deep, the corner's responsibility is to sink. He doesn't know if he's going to run a comeback or he doesn't know if he's going to run a corner route. So he's going to sink a little bit to about 8 yards, and then he'll break up on the route. So we should have time, if he wants to throw this a little earlier than normal and get it to him with space to be able to maneuver, because we have this whole big area of space that we can take advantage of by throwing either the slant or the swing. We just have to be careful when we throw the swing that we don't throw it wider, we throw it a little quicker. That's why we adjust the quarterback steps. Alright? If the Sam linebacker rotates to the first window and the Mike linebacker wants to rotate to the second window to play the slant, it's a long way for him to go to get there, and what we found is we typically, if the Sam linebacker rotates out and runs with the swing and then hits the slant, that we can throw that in that second window. Okay? So we haven't changed any of our routes. We really haven't changed in this particular instance our first read. We just know that we may have to throw it a little quicker than if it was against 3 deep. That's the only thing we've had to change, and we can execute at a high level of efficiency because of that. All right? One of the things that happens when people play 2 deep, particularly against a 5 wide set, is because they have the extra man over here, this will linebacker becomes a blitzer. So one of the things we know that the defense does in order to get an extra guy into the rush is that they go 2 deep, and now this will linebacker becomes a guy that they put into the rush. So that's how they get to their boundary blitz. So by going to 2 deep, they give you a little hint of who their blitzer is. Okay? What usually happens over here versus 2 deep in the zero route is when this guy runs his takeoff, the free safety rotates over, the corner doesn't ride him as hard because he's reading through to the A-back, and he comes off and plays the out route. And sometimes you can stick it in this rotation, but it's really not necessary to take that chance. because they're counting on this blitzer coming over here, and if you're looking at this and a blitzer's coming, then obviously you're playing into their hands. You can take a quick one step and get rid of the ball, and whether it's 2 deep or 3 deep, you've got real good throws keeping the same routes as you did whether against 3 deep.